episode of Digging Deep. We're a week late.
We're a week late, but we have good reasons. We were busy planting.
We're so busy, and we're not even done.
Yeah. Like, I was on a tractor this afternoon, you were planting flowers, and, like, at 12 o'clock, I was like, we gotta do Digging Deep today. Totally forgot.
Yeah. But we're here.
Yeah.
We got a good prize to give away.
Yes.
What are we giving away?
We're gonna give away 2 $100 gift cards that'll be used for custom seed packaging only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what can you do with a custom seed pack?
Custom seed pack. So a custom seed pack, you can put whatever words you want on the front. We can put pictures, flowers, whatever you want. You can use them for special occasions, give them out as gifts. It's totally up to you.
We have a lot of different things, like you do for a ball tournament, a family reunion,
Yep.
A wedding.
Yep. Businesses, like small businesses, give them out as like little gifts as well.
And what are your options for flowers when you're doing a custom seed pack?
I know we have some forget-me-nots. There's some sunflowers. I believe there's some sweet peas in there as well. We kind of have a different mix of things.
Yeah, Shasta daisies, annual surprise mix. You can really get anything you want as a custom seed mix.
Yeah.
They are on our website, but if you want something special, we could work something out.
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
The custom seed packs are awesome, and I like them because I normally get to design them.
Yes.
I do like designing them.
Yeah, and you do a fantastic job. I see them floating by the office once in a while. I'm like, Tara did that.
I did that.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting. And then they're all hand-packed.
That's
so
right.
we're giving away 2 custom seed packs.
Yes, and we're going to ask the question a little bit later in the podcast. Typically for other winning questions, we've done like put your answer in the comments, then we choose whatever the first comment is that comes in. This time we're going to ask the question, and then we're going to do like a random draw kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that'll be in a later video.
Yeah. While we wait for people to join us and ask us questions, have comments, I do have some questions.
Sure.
All right. Are you noticing more earwigs this year, or is it just me?
I haven't been noticing more earwigs, but I have noticed them starting to come out in the past about 7-10 days.
I think the earwigs are late this year.
Right.
I'm just starting to see them, and while we're working up the flower beds, we're seeing the babies.
Yes.
They're like really small.
We have some petunia baskets around the property at work, and I'm like diligently like deadheading them like once a day or once every other day. Mm-hmm. And usually earwigs would be all up in those flowers, and I only found one flower a couple days ago that had some earwigs in it. I was quite surprised it was this late.
So what's your best defense against earwigs?
Best defense against earwigs, if you want them not in your home, make sure there's no like organic matter close to the house. Make sure your mulch isn't right up against your house. Make sure there isn't like a lot of plants, branches, leaves laying right up against the house as well. In the garden, not a whole lot you can do. There are earwig traps. They do work quite well. They're basically a piece of wood with little like lines cut in them. They essentially just climb inside, and once they're inside, they can't get out because they can't walk backwards. So once they're in there, they're stuck. You take the trap, you empty it wherever you need to empty it, in your compost bin or in your like chicken pen or something like that, and then you just put it back. Yeah,
the key is that you actually have to empty it, because once it's full, no more are going to climb in.
Exactly.
So you have to be on the daily
every day
emptying it out.
Yeah.
Into a bucket of water or chickens.
Yeah.
We should get chickens. I think we should have ducks.
Yes.
I would love to have ducks. They could weed for us.
They could. We'll hire them.
It'd free up all those extra time.
Can we put little like the lime green Veseys shirts on them too?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So cucumber beetles are eating my cucumbers. What should I do?
Cucumber beetles eating cucumbers. So best thing you can do. Row covers are number one thing. Some kind of like insect netting. The other thing you can do is like an insecticidal soap or something like that. With the insecticidal soap, you have to make direct contact with the beetles, so they have to be there. You have to hit them directly. They're kind of silly. As soon as they see like you walking over or one of them gets squished, they kind of all dive bomb off the plants, and then they scatter away in the soil.
That's the thing about cucumber beetles. They're so much faster than like potato beetles.
They're so much faster. Potato beetles are kind of like I would call like the Newfoundland dogs of the bug world. They're kind of like big and goofy, and they're just like not fast moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're easy to take care of. Cucumber beetles, like they jump.
Yes. Cucumber beetles are more like a sheepdog. Like, yeah.
And you know what else jumps? Flea beetles.
Yes, I don't like flea beetles either.
I was pinching flea beetles off my grapes, and maybe one jumped into my mouth.
Yes.
Maybe.
Nice. You know what though? Flea beetles I found haven't been as bad this year either.
Well, they were on the grapes that I just found and rescued, because apparently grape flea beetle like to overwinter in long grass.
And you have lots of that.
Our grapes were actually in long grass.
Yes.
So they just had a field day. They were never trellised.
Yeah. And our flea beetles at work, we had some of the best radishes I've seen in years at work.
Yeah.
Like golf ball size or a little bit smaller. There wasn't a lot of cracking in because the soil was like nice and consistent for moisture. They were quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So cucumber beetles, netting. We do transplants now because the cucumber beetles, like, they'll get them as soon as they come out of the ground.
Yes. Yeah. Like, as soon as the plants pop out of the ground, like, they're on them. So at least when we're doing transplants, we can kind of give them a little bit more of a head start. And then that way we can go out and do any of our treatments after, as soon as we get them planted. So
yeah, there reaches a point where the cucumber beetles, the plants are strong enough that it's not really going to cause detrimental damage, and they don't really attack the fruit.
Not really, no. I have noticed some of the like more wordy varieties they might go after, but like it's never been a huge deal. It might be like the odd pumpkin.
Yeah, that'd be pumpkin, but you're not really eating the pumpkins
anyway.
You're
not eating the pumpkins. You're just showing them off.
Yeah, and I try not to spray anything when something's in flower.
Yeah.
Always good. All right. Is there a natural way to manage slugs around young seedlings?
So copper wire, if you can put some of that around them. I don't think if it's like right on top of the soil, it won't work. It might get covered by soil and like rain splash and stuff. But if you have like a raised bed, you can wrap around the wood on the outside. The other thing is some cheap beer in an old tuna can sunk into the soil. Slugs love beer. So then you basically just go out and check it every day, dump it out, top it up again.
Yeah. Don't use your
Don't use the expensive like microbrewery stuff. Just like use the very cheap stuff.
Yeah, the cheapest you can get. I wonder if like non-alcoholic beer would work.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Like, is it?
It's probably not the alcohol.
It's probably the sugar.
It's probably the sugars in the beer. You could probably use non-alcoholic.
Interesting.
Absolutely, that's a good point. I never thought of that.
We should try it. I feel like non-alcoholic beer is cheaper. I don't like any beer, so
we'll put 100 slugs over here and 100 over here, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, and see what happens.
All of the slugs on PEI, I think, are at my house,
right.
So we wouldn't.
I think you're right because I don't have many slugs at my place.
You wouldn't believe, like, walking through our trails, they're everywhere. Like, you can't even take one step without there being slugs.
I'm usually quite surprised if I would see one in our garden or on our property.
I was worried when I planted my blueberries that they were going to eat them, and they don't care. Okay. They're not on the blueberries. They're on the compost that I put around the blueberries. Right. And I was like, you just...
They like that decaying matter, that nice moisture it adds? I'm not sure.
I guess. I got Janine. She says, I have white patches on my Brussels sprout plants. Is this a fungus? What can I use?
White patches. It could be. Sometimes you can get a certain mildew, pouty or downy mildew. Both look a little bit different, but they do have like a grayish, whitish kind of on the leaves or on the undersides of the leaves. That could be it. If it's like embedded in the leaf, it might be some like sun scorch or something like that. It's really hard to say unless we see some photos. So if you take some photos, send them to customer service. What's the email? customerservice@veseys.com?
Yeah.
Customerservice@veseys.com. Send your photos. Say, this is what I have. The customer service can't answer your question. They will forward it to me, and then I'll have a look as well.
Yeah, something's sun scorch, especially if you got transplants and you put them out, it's probably sun scorch. It turns like white sometimes.
Yeah, it almost like bleaches the leaves.
Mildew, you can wipe off.
Yeah.
And it'll come back and it's there, but you can tell that it's kind of like a mildew that's on it, kind of like a mildew that would form in your basement.
Yeah, if it is a mildew, like if you're watering every day, overhead watering constantly, having the plants wet, or if it's been an extended period of rain, any of those things can bring it out.
Yeah. And if it's sunspots, then don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
The new leaves are not going to have it, just the old leaves.
It's just like a stress response, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Brussels sprouts.
I know.
I'm so excited. So excited. I see Marilyn's watching.
Hi, Marilyn.
Marilyn loves Brussels sprouts, too. Let's see. How soon should I start scouting for hornworms on tomatoes?
You could really start scouting at any time. It's a really good habit. We were actually just talking about, like, literally 2 to 3 minutes before the start, we were talking about, like, doing plant walks in our own gardens at home. And, like, plant walks every day. And how you're not necessarily just, like, oohing at the plants. You do that, but, like, also you're looking for, like, what's standing out from far away. Like, are you seeing deformities in the plants? Are you seeing drooping leaves? Are you seeing some shiny leaves? Anything different? So plant scout every day. Look at your plants. You don't need to get like right up in close with the plants, but you're basically looking for any egg masses or any insects and stuff.
Yeah, like I was scouting and I planted a bunch of fruit trees and they're very little, and on my pear tree there was a 10 caterpillar. And 10 caterpillars aren't even that harmful.
No.
And a lot of people think they're worse than they are. But when I only have like 25 leaves, if it eats 5, that's a big deal. Yes. But when you have like 1,000 leaves and it eats 5, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
So I did put him under my shoe.
Yes.
Because like I want my tree.
Yes.
Come back in a couple of years, have a feast. But I love plant walks.
Or stay in the ditches too. Like stay in those trees.
Stay in those trees, not my trees.
Yeah.
Something fun about having Scott and Ethan this year in trials is that they haven't seen a lot of things, and I was telling Scott about the parasitic wasp and how they attack the hornworms, and that's so cool.
It's very cool.
It's very cool. Have you ever seen a hornworm?
I haven't seen one in real life, no. But I've seen lots of photos. I think it's more like a slightly warmer climate, maybe even like southern Ontario kind of thing.
Yeah, and probably like BC.
Yeah.
If I ever see one, though, I'm ordering parasitic wasps just so they like...
Absolutely.
So fun.
Fight nature with nature.
I've heard of trap crops. What are they and how are they useful?
So a trap crop is just one crop that any pest really, really loves. A good example would be like flea beetles and like some collard greens or anything like that, or anything in the brassica family. Essentially, you're planting a mass of it. A lot of pests come to it, and then you're culling those plants, basically. Yeah. It's basically like a giant fishing net that you're just scooping all the pests up with and then basically dealing with them.
Yeah. So, like, we were talking about doing maybe, like, eggplant to, like, stop the potato beetles to getting into our peppers. Because we're not planting eggplant this year.
Yeah.
So they can damage that and leave our peppers alone.
Yes. And we have a potato field right next to our field this year as well, so...
Yeah, and I found a potato beetle on a pumpkin, and I was
I've been seeing a couple on our bug netting for our lettuce as well. There's been a couple hanging out on top of that.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the potatoes to sprout next door.
Yes.
Yeah, not looking forward to that.
No.
So maybe we should do a catch crop.
Maybe we should.
Eggplant.
Yeah.
Potato beetles love eggplant.
Yeah, just direct seed some, let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing to keep lettuce from bolting in the summer sun?
Keeping lettuce from bolting in the summer sun, just move your lettuce into like a part shaded area basically. Too much sun, too much heat will cause it to flower.
Yeah.
Most head lettuces like icebergs and romaines are okay in full sun, but like leafy types, the oak leaves, that sort of thing, move those into part shade.
Yeah, you can really probably put them, all leafy greens, in part sun this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. Like kales, any of your lettuce mixes, that sort of thing, baby greens, absolutely.
Is it too late to direct sow squash?
It depends where you are. For us, I would say not. Typically, our Septembers have been looking relatively mild, so that if we planted those now, direct seeded, that would still give us 90 days plus, which is right around the days to maturity for some of the winter squash, so you'd be okay. For some of the colder regions, like northern New Brunswick, anywhere that's maybe like a zone 4 or colder, you might be pushing your limit.
And summer squash, like zucchinis, you'd have lots of time.
Oh, lots of time. Those 50 days, easy.
What should I plant once my radish and beet are done?
So really you can plant anything. Good rule of thumb, don't plant anything that's in the same family as those two. So brassicas, I'm not sure what's in the beet family. And then the other rule I would follow is no root crops. There might already be some pests that like root crops there, so move to something that produces above ground.
Yeah, maybe lettuce.
Some lettuce, yeah.
Peas.
Yeah.
It is the year of the pea.
It is the year of the pea, so.
And who declared it the year of the pea?
It is the National Gardening Bureau who determines that.
Yeah.
Yes, which is very fun.
I'm excited because I love peas.
Yes. Whenever I'm talking to them, I'm like, so like, give me the scoop, like, next year, what are the plants?
Peas are like one of the few things that I actually planted in my garden.
Yes.
I'm really lucky because I get to eat everything at work.
Yes.
But the one thing I don't get enough of is peas.
We planted some peas at home as well this year.
I did snow and snap on tomato trellises.
Yep.
And then I did our new M14 and I just let it go. I'm hoping it's going to climb itself.
Yes. It could. If you have them like a little block or a circle, they should.
Well, the M14 is more compact than like the Dalvey, so I'm pretty sure they'll be okay climbing themselves.
Yeah.
If not, I'm going to trellis the next batch that I put in.
Yeah.
All right. Janine has another question. I have a problem with caterpillars this year. Zone 4. They are on my apple trees and grapevines. I'm spraying BTX, but they're still there.
Yes.
Janine, what do they look like?
Yeah. It sounds like it might be a pretty generic caterpillar that likes a wide range of things, especially if they're on like apple trees and grapes. Two totally different crops and families, so it might be a broad a broad range caterpillar.
And I know like 10 caterpillars, they like apples and pears. And Kate McQuarrie was posting about like a little moth that their caterpillars like to be on fruit trees, such as like hawthorn and apple.
But yeah, if you're doing like the BTK spray already, just keep that up.
Yeah. Gotta make contact.
It's a great product for home gardeners. It's very safe for the environment and for wildlife and stuff. So yeah, just keep that up.
Yeah, and I find pests are a little bit lazy early morning and early evening.
Yeah, especially when it's cool.
Yeah. So you might be able to catch them, but you will have to make contact. Or tell us what they look like. That might be able to help. Do you bother with a second crop of peas, or is the heat too much?
So you can do a second crop of peas. Someone mentioned, or you mentioned about doing some lettuces in like part shade. You could do some peas in like some part shade as well. Otherwise, I'd be waiting probably till like middle of August to plant some more peas. Beginning of August, you might get the full month of August, like the extreme heat. But moving into September, things will cool down a bit, and then as you're going into fall, when they're producing their pods, that's the most drastic time.
All right, Janine's not answering. I'm gonna go peas all summer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go peas all summer. Grapevines, tiny and brown, and the apple trees are about 1 inch long with blackish brown and fuzzy.
Okay.
Oh, Heather Rogers, I think she's on PEI, has little green caterpillars on the apples. Had them last year. Are they the little ones that like hang down?
They might be. It might be like I think the name is a codling moth as well.
Yeah.
Pretty common on apple trees. I don't know if they still make it. There used to be this product called Tanglefoot.
Yeah.
Is it still in the market?
We sell it in the store.
Oh, do we? Okay, perfect. So there's this product called Tanglefoot, and essentially you just get like a red plastic ball that has like a little hook on it, and this product is essentially like a
putty, sticky.
Yeah, like a almost like a Vaseline or a petroleum jelly type consistency, and you just put it onto the whole ball. And then any of the codling moths that are there, they see the red ball, they're like, ooh, an apple, and then they go to it, and then they just get stuck fast to it, and then essentially they die. Yeah, try some of those for some of your trees. It's a good like natural way to kill them as well without like having to spray.
I've never heard that hack, but it makes a lot of sense because they want the apple.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like tricking them, then they can't get off.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good use for that. That's clever. Grapevines, tiny and brown. I wonder if it's the flea beetles having their babies. They form little caterpillars.
It could be. Yeah, because if it's the flea beetles, it might be like a larvae and not so much a caterpillar, so that could be what's happening too.
It all just depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes like Google Lens or reverse image search is like your best friend.
Yeah.
Like try and get a good picture of it and then post it. They curl inside the leaves with like a web. I wonder if those are 10 caterpillars.
It might be, because 10 caterpillars are kind of a brownish color.
Yeah, mine had stripes on it. I took a picture of it.
Yeah, it could be 10 caterpillars. Especially if they're folding the leaves around them too with the webbing. That would be like telltale.
Let me see if I can find it. Those are radishes. Those radishes are beautiful. Ooh, not a great picture. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Did it look like this, Heather? Ooh, wrong way. Oh, it's blurry. It won't focus. That was a 10 caterpillar I took off my pear tree, and apples and pears are the same family.
They're probably what, like an inch and a quarter long?
Yeah, he was just like this long.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google image it or send us a picture and we can figure it out for you.
Yeah.
I like your Tanglefoot idea.
Yeah, that's always worked quite well in the past.
I'm going to like tuck that into the back of my brain for when 3 years from now when I have apples.
Yes.
3 years from now. Okay, back to Facebook. Okay. When your garlic comes out, what's your go-to crop to follow it?
Ooh, to follow it? Anything that's not in the allium family. So it's kind of going back to the radish and the beet question. So nothing in the allium family. And then nothing that would be a root crop. So for us at our house, we would do like probably a crop of like baking beans or something in the soil.
Nice.
Yeah.
My friend in Summerside, her garlic has already scaped.
Really?
And ours hasn't started.
I haven't seen mine at home scaping yet either.
And She has those, but that wasn't it.
But like our garlic looks like beautiful. It's got some really nice growth on it too. So
it is really pretty. Maybe she is in the city, so maybe she's more sheltered.
Yeah, a little more sheltered, probably a little bit warmer as well.
Yeah, she gave me some, and I was like, "You shouldn't have done that." And I was like, "You should hoard those."
That's a premium crop, first of the season.
She's never had them before, so she doesn't know what she's missing. And I was like, "You shouldn't share those with anyone."
No.
I love scapes more than garlic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, garlic scapes. Well, you can get like multiple crops of garlic scapes.
Yes.
How often are you watering in this heat? Is it enough? Is there such a thing as too much in this heat?
You can overwater to an extent a little bit, but for the most part, everything's going to be okay. But basically, we're checking stuff every day. Mm-hmm. Lifting pots, lifting trays, just checking for weight. If something's heavy, you know it doesn't need moisture. If it's light, you know it needs some water. Mm-hmm. Sticking your fingers in the soil, basically just checking every day. Mm-hmm. Once in the morning, and then usually, if we don't water in the morning, once in the early afternoon. So.
And how many times have we watered our field?
Our field? Ethan has done that once, which we typically try not to if we can, but we are in a dry period right now.
Yeah.
And he actually did a little bit more again this morning.
Yeah, he was saying the squash looked a little hungry.
Yeah.
It all depends, especially like how's your drainage.
Yeah.
Like if you've got poor drainage and your water that you put there yesterday is still sitting in the bottom of the pot, if you give it more, you're probably going to drown it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always best to check if the soil needs some moisture rather than just watering on a schedule like every day at 8 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah. I was on Ask PEI one day and someone was saying, I need tomatoes that have flavor. And I was like reading the comments and she was like, I planted those, they had no flavor. And I'm like, you can't plant 6 different types of tomatoes and have no flavor in any of them. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it sounds like you're over watering.
Yeah. It's like diluting kind of like the compounds that are in the fruit that give the flavor.
Yeah. And she was like, well, I used to grow them in pots, and I used to have to water twice a day. But now that they're in the ground, I still water twice a day. And I was like, well, you will.
Yeah. So like within the pot, like it's going to heat up quicker. It's more like constricted growth for the roots, so it's going to suck up all that moisture a lot faster. The wind is more like able to get around it and wick away moisture as well, whereas in the soil, if you go a couple inches down, like it's still quite cool on most days and even moist. So
yeah, we were planting flowers and like down like 3 or 4 inches, it's still moist.
Yeah.
So overwatering isn't necessarily a good thing. You really need to check.
Yes.
You can't just water twice a day because you think it's hot and the plants need it.
Yeah.
Lindsay says, my lawn has grubs in it. I want to start a bigger garden and remove the grass for next year. I sprayed nematodes, but it takes a while and multiple sprays. Would it be okay to just do it?
Yeah, so those grubs you're seeing are probably June bug larvae. If they're like pretty big and chunky and they're like a whitish gray color with like a reddish brown head, that would be June bug larvae. Mm-hmm. They eat the roots of the grass essentially, so if you're planting stuff there, they're more or less going to come back next year and they're going to lay eggs and then they're going to eat the roots of your perennials and your other plants.
Yeah.
So yeah, just keep doing your application of like your nematodes to try to kind of handle them, and I'm always in favor for less lawn, more gardens. So.
Yeah, we find a lot of those June bug larvae when we're working up our flower beds, mm-hmm. and we just put them in our trugs and we move them to our compost pile, so they can help eat the roots of all the things that we're putting in there.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill them.
Yeah.
Because nature
kinda,
and harmony.
Yes.
But yeah, we just move them.
Yeah.
Relocate them someplace else. So you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
As you're tilling the garden, though, you'll find all sorts of things.
Oh yeah, and like another good indication that you have them in your lawn, or like you'll come out and like your lawn will be all dug up, and that's skunks coming in the night, and they're digging those grubs up and eating them. So if your lawn's all dug up, you more than likely have June bug larvae, and that's the skunks that are digging up your lawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd still work it up. I'd still get it ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get it ready. Lots of organic matter.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when your seedlings get crusted over in dry soil?
That's a great question. So you're basically just going to do a light cultivation, and basically the crust is very, very thin, and it's really easy to break. For us, for seeds, it's a little bit more difficult, but just go with like a hoe or anything like that, and you're just scuffing the top of the soil, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lindsay has a follow-up question to the grubs. It won't ruin the garden?
It shouldn't ruin the garden, no. If you're getting like a well-established perennial and putting it in there, I don't think you're going to have any problems at all. If you're direct seeding some stuff at the same time when the grubs are coming out and maybe eating the lawn, then you might start running into some problems. But like if you're buying from a nursery or a greenhouse on like 1 gallon or 5.5-inch pot perennials, I think it's fine.
She said her lawn is ruined. Now, have you dug up a piece of your lawn and verified it was grubs?
Mm-hmm. Could be something else happening as well.
Yeah, I hear that dogs peeing on your lawn kills it too. Too much ammonia.
Yeah, there could be like maybe like a pH imbalance going on as well. Soil tests are our gardener's best friend. They're cheap and they tell you a lot about what's happening and what you need to do. And maybe in an instance like this, the June bugs just aren't helping anything.
Yeah, they could be making it worse. But if your lawn is ruined, that'd be a lot of grubs.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of grubs. Usually there's like pockets where there's dead patches.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's a great point. There's usually like dead patches. And usually like I only see them wipe out entire lawns with like, if you're installing like pieces of sod instead of like starting your lawn from seed, that's when you usually see them wipe them out.
We used to have a lot of grubs, used Grub Be Gone and lime, and our lawn was so bad, and it's much better now.
Yeah, it sounded like it might be a pH problem, especially like here in Atlantic Canada. The soil's naturally acidic, like a 5.5 pH where 7's in neutral, and lawns typically like a 6.5 to a 7 pH. So putting some lime on will probably help that out a bunch. So
yeah, you know what does like pH of 5.5? Blueberries,
and if you want some like blue hydrangeas as well.
Yeah, like so forget grass. You got hydrangeas and blueberries, and you're perfect.
Yeah. Talking about blueberries, little tangent. We did have our first hascaps last night.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
you beat the birds.
We beat the birds. So I was just like doing a plant walk yesterday evening when I was barbecuing, and I saw a couple of blue hascaps. I was like, "Oh, the first one's awesome."
That's amazing. Were they really tart?
They were a little tart. I did try to find ones that were as blue as possible. There were definitely some pink ones still on the bush, but I tried.
See, I would say that all the ones that we had at work, they weren't quite ready. Mm-hmm. And then when they're ready, the birds just like gone. The birds, the juncos and those cedar waxwings, it's so hard to be faster than them.
Yep.
Luckily, the bush isn't so big that you can't cover it.
Yes.
What are those hard-shelled, look like triangle bugs eating strawberries they jump to? Triangle
bugs. I'm thinking of like tarnished plant bug, maybe. They're like a brown. I think they're
the stink bug thing.
Yeah, they're kind of like a stink bug, but not. But they basically have like a shield shape on their back. It's brown. Tarnished plant bug is the name, and they typically eat plants as well. They're not as common, but I do see them popping up once in a while.
I think Heather is in PEI. Oh, is that a triangle?
Like a shield. I would call it more of like a... No, it's not that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking like stink bug, the ones that you see in your house in winter, like that thing.
Yeah, more like that.
Does it look like that? Look, we've taken to like Google. Oh. Like that?
And maybe it's not so much a shield shape, but like the top half towards the head is more like square shaped, and then it comes to like a more like a fine taper near the bottom. And
are they eating your strawberries? That's a sad story.
It is. I've never seen them eating fruit that I can recall, but definitely like flowers and foliage.
And like those roly-poly bugs. What's the actual name of them?
I'm not sure what the actual name is. They have so many common names.
They're just roly-poly bugs. Yeah. I know they like, it's grayish green. Heather, you're going to have to send us...
Yeah, send us some photos.
Send us some photos. I'm so intrigued. Or bring one to us.
Yes.
It would not be the first time someone has brought us bugs in a jar.
Yeah, we get lots of like plant samples and like bugs all the time, so...
Yeah. It's always fun when like someone's in the store and they have a jar with a bug in it. We're like, we're coming.
Yes.
I think it is the... She says yes they are. I wonder if she means yes they are the stink bugs.
Maybe, yeah.
Stink bugs usually like decaying matter. Are your strawberries past their prime? Stink bug. Interesting. I always find them in my house.
I don't see them very often on our property. We did see some in our front garden a few days ago. I think they were on either our Astilbe or our Shasta daisy. I don't remember. It was one of those two. But both of them just had flowers starting to come out, so they may have been eating the buds.
Yeah, maybe they're like ladybugs and they're like the defenders and they eat the bad ones.
Yeah.
Anyway, stop by, bring us a bug, send us an email with a picture.
Mm-hmm.
I lost the chat somehow. Okay. We're back. They're eating them, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry they're eating them because like strawberries are the best.
Yeah, that's
like,
very annoying.
Absolute best. I heard somebody had a bowl of strawberries for us and forgot to bring it.
Sure did. Well, I got good news for you. There are still multiple bowls in the garden. So.
Listen, anytime you want to go on vacation, I can get Julie and we can come pick them again.
Yeah.
That was a really good time. How do you keep your containers from drying out every single day?
You're basically just checking them for moisture every day. If they do get to the point where they do dry out, I wouldn't say a cool term, but a term I learned a month ago is called the depth gap. And that's basically that little separation of soil between the soil and the inside edge of the pot. Mm-hmm. That's basically like a dry sponge and it's just constricting. When you get to that point, you either need to fluff up the soil or you need to sink that whole thing in some water basically and let it rehydrate. Or else all the water is just going to run over the edges and come right at the bottom of the pot.
Yeah, you need a nice slow gradual rain. Mm-hmm. That like slow misty rain is like the best rain.
Yes.
Because the soil has trouble if it's really dry. Like the other day we got a lot of rain, but I don't think we absorbed a lot of it.
No, I don't think so.
When it rains too hard and too fast and it's dry, we just don't absorb it.
Yeah. That's what causes the mudslides and stuff is that it's so dry and then you get so much rain all at once and then the soil can't absorb it so it just ends up running down wherever.
Yeah, and I mean you'll notice especially in Charlottetown there's certain streets that flood very quickly because they just can't absorb.
Yeah.
Too much water.
Yeah.
Too much water. The last question I have is my compost pile isn't getting hot enough. What should I do?
If it's not getting hot enough, add some organic matter. If you got lots of leaves, grass clippings are a great thing because they're high in nitrogen. Nitrogen usually breaks down very hot, mm-hmm. and that's what you want for most things to break down. Adding some, if you have some fresh manure or anything like that to add to it as well, that would be great. And then basically you're just making sure you're tilling the pile every 2 to 3 days basically.
Yeah, fresh grass clippings. Don't wait a couple days. Fresh.
Yeah, fresh. Gather them. If you have a push mower or a ride-on where you can catch the grass clippings. That was very difficult to say. And then basically put them on, and then water them. Get them wet, mm-hmm. Nice and moist and nice and hot, and then basically bury them.
Yeah, the grass gets really hot. The grass crew at work put some grass in our compost pile, and it was steaming.
Yeah, your compost is working well, when you can feel the heat coming off of it.
Yeah, it was quite intense. There's some crazy pumpkin / squash growing in the compost pile too.
I always love that.
Yeah, which I know we're gonna till it soon, and they'll be gone. But
yeah,
they're so happy in there. Should we remind people what we're giving away?
Yeah, so we're giving away 2 $100 gift cards that are going to be used for custom seed packaging only. We're going to ask a question very soon. Put your answer in the comments, and then we're going to basically do a random draw.
Yeah, custom seed pack can be used for family reunion, wedding, mm-hmm. Ball game, small business, mm-hmm. Just for fun.
Yeah.
You could make one for your local community garden, your library.
They can say whatever you want on the front. You can have a wide range of any photos on the front as well. So
yeah, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
A variety of plants.
Yeah.
So yeah, $100 gift card to 2 people. So that's a lot of seeds.
That is a lot of seeds.
That is a lot of seeds. Someone asked us some questions, guys.
Yeah.
What are we doing at work?
What are we doing at work? Right now we're finishing up getting all of our trial flowers in ground. Mm-hmm. That should be done by end of day tomorrow, maybe. I think it'll be an all hands on deck day tomorrow to get them all in before the long weekend. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've been eating radish.
We've been eating radish and spinach.
Spinach is delicious. We have more spinach to eat.
I was driving by the lettuce very slowly today in the tractor, and you're just kind of looking at stuff as you're puttering by, and that looks really good.
The lettuce looks really good. I don't want to peek because I don't want to move the netting.
I don't either. Yeah.
I don't want to move all that soil.
Yeah.
Our peppers and tomatoes look so good this year.
Look very good. I'm very impressed with the peppers this year.
Yeah, the peppers are really good.
Very impressed.
How are the peas? I haven't been down there.
They look pretty good. Yep. The backside's a little bit wet, so there's a couple of varieties in the backside that didn't do so hot. Understandable, but the rest of them look good.
And we've got, 2 plantings of corn in, and we put distance and time between them.
Yes. And we have one more planting to go as well.
Nice. Yeah. And is the second variety up?
The second variety is up, I noticed today. It's just, there's probably about 10 varieties in there, and they're coming up here and there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a 1-year-old grape bush. Can I expect fruit this year?
1-year-old as in planted this year or last year? Because the grape flowers and fruit comes on previous year wood. Yeah.
Yeah. I would, if my grape on the second year produced flowers on grapes, I would allow it. Mm-hmm. But like my strawberries, I kill all the flowers.
I think grapes is a good exception because grapes are like fantastic growers, and I think I'm underselling that. Like they grow like nobody's business.
Yeah. So if your grape, it'll push out new leaves. If you just plant it this year, you'll get leaves and vines this year, and it'll produce fruit on those next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's just planted this year, don't expect any flowers.
No.
But I planted strawberries this year, and I'm picking off every flower. Mm-hmm. And one of the blueberry bushes that I put in flowered, and I picked those off too.
Yes.
Which is, it's like, feels weird.
Yeah.
It feels weird.
It's a hard concept to like get your body to do, but yeah, it feels like it's like hurting you a little bit every time you do it.
And it's like, it makes sense. Like if my pear tree's like this tall, like she's like 3.5 feet tall. If it flowered and I let it produce fruit, it is so small.
Yes.
That's such a strain. It's so much work on the plant when it's so young.
Yes, it's a lot of strain.
It's not worth it. And it might do it as a stress response, and you might think it's a good thing, but you should remove it.
Yes, always remove them, especially when they're that young and small.
Yeah, so like the first 2-3 years, we're going to remove everything off our fruit trees. Mm-hmm. And the blueberries, I think I'd even pick the flowers off next year too.
Yeah. You're just setting yourself up for like excellent crops in the future.
Yeah, I mean, a high bush blueberry plant can live, 20-25 years?
A long time.
So like I'd rather have that for longer than like a handful of blueberries.
Yes. That handful of blueberries might seem really, really nice, but like...
Yeah. It's just too stressful.
Would you rather have a handful now or 2 bowls later kind of thing, you know?
And only 2 bowls.
Yeah.
Lindsay says, my tomatoes have flowers. Should I remove them? Is removing flowers for any plant a normal thing to do?
Yep. It's a normal thing to do. Depends on how big your tomatoes are. If they're, if they got a couple feet on them, they're probably getting ready to start producing fruit. So, like, I would leave them on. But if you, like, just transplanted them, or these are the first ones you're seeing this season and the plants are still, like, around, 10, 12 inches tall, then I would pick off the flowers.
When we transplanted out our tomatoes and our peppers, we picked up every flower that was on them just as we transplanted them. And if they had set berries, we took those off.
Yep.
It's just too stressful in the transition, transplant shock. We're going to leave everything else.
Yeah.
It's really just the fruit bushes that we're going to remove them from, and fruit trees.
The best way I could explain, like, transplant shock when, like, you're having fruit come out is, like, imagine if a family who is very close to having a baby moved across the continent to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, incredibly stressful, right? So
super stressful.
Yeah.
And they were happy in the greenhouse, and they were with all their friends, and they were getting water all the time.
Yeah.
And now they're like, live in this field. It's hot.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
No fan to cool you off. Heather says, how many green peppers should I allow to grow on one plant?
That's a great question. Typically, I always let them go. Maybe thin out maybe 1 or 2 if you have like multiple on the plant. But by thinning, you're going to get bigger peppers. They should mature faster as well. So maybe thinning a couple off isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, especially if like 2 are too close together and there's going to stop them. Mm-hmm. Peppers are like crazy because they like will conform to their surroundings.
Yeah.
So if one's too close, they know it's too close. Or if it's sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
Anything touching the ground, that's just an invitation for like wire worms and other bugs to get in there.
Oh man, when come late summer when there's like a nice bell pepper just touching the soil and I can see a little bit of red, I'm like, whoa, first bell pepper, and like they're huge. They're like this, So and I pick it off and I flip it over and there's a nice big hole right through the bottom where the wire worm was. I'm like, that's why it's ripening, because it's starting to rot, basically.
It's starting to rot. And sometimes they just rot sitting on the ground. We had a wet fall, and that moisture, they don't want to sit in that moisture.
Yeah, it just rots them from the bottom.
So I don't remove anything, but we should remove things that are touching the ground. and remove any tomato leaves that are touching the ground.
Yes, that's a good one too, especially for late blight, which is really, really important in our area. Yeah, you don't want that.
Donna says, my pear tree is about 15 feet tall. Should I trim back the top part of the tree? If so, how much?
Good rule of thumb is never more than a third of the plant. You could trim it back if you want to, especially if, I guess the question kind of is like, are you seeing like irregular growth? I've been seeing a lot of questions kind of flow in this year where like a lot of the growth is kind of focused near the bottom of the tree. Not as like a sucker, but for whatever reason it's like a stress response from the tree and all the growth is at the bottom. Then you have like a long skinny trunk with nothing on it, and then there's a little bit of growth at the very top. So in a case like that, you would be looking at cutting the trunk back a little bit because there's just nothing coming out there. You want to shape the plant a little bit better. Not only is shaping the plant like make it look nicer, but it's also healthier for the plant. You're not getting like weak areas where like winter damage or big windstorms could also snap the plant.
Yeah, and you want to like, what's your end goal with your pear tree? Do you want to let it get as big as possible, or do you want it to look more like an orchard tree that will define how you prune it? Some people never prune them. Some people are like obsessive pruners.
Yes.
I'm not sure what kind of pruner I'm going to be.
Yeah.
I have time. I don't want it to be too tall because I want to be able to pick every single one.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
And I also don't want something too big. I see apple trees that are like 75 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like if you had pests on that, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like how are you going to attack that?
Also, how are you getting those apples down too?
A catch?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you going to stand under the tree and like try to rediscover gravity or something?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So it all depends if what you want. If you could, I would wait to trim your tree unless it was something like super important.
Yeah, like if you have like two big branches rubbing against each other, one of them's broken and it's not like a clean cut, like any of those would be good reasons to trim it back behind that.
Yeah, but fall, once all the leaves come off, or early spring is even best before it breaks dormancy.
Yeah. And it's also really important, disinfect whatever tools you're using, like a saw or pruners, between each plant you go to. Basically, if there is any disease or anything that's in those plants, you're not going to be spreading it between plants. We're kind of running into that at home right now, so.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Guess who asked it?
Okay.
What tractor does Cody recommend for a few acres?
For a few acres? Well, right now I'm using a Coyote DK. It is a 4710 right now. For a few acres, I think it's a little big. You might be looking at a 3000 series if you want something for a few acres.
I think maybe he doesn't need a tractor.
I'm going to say no comment. I'm going to say neutral in this conversation.
No comment.
Yeah.
You know, I really enjoy the Ventrac.
Ventrac was fun.
The Ventrac is fun.
And you get so many different attachments for them as well.
Like a PTO in the front, though. I'm not really good at driving backwards.
I keep seeing right on the side, we have a big Veseys box van, and on the side of it there's a Ventrac like running over some plants and like grinding them down, and I have some wild raspberries on my property. I'm like, I wonder if we have one of those attachments on the property. I might need to borrow it for like a day. I
think it's on the Ventrac that's in front of like Nick's building where he's selling it.
Okay. Nick and I may need to have a little chat, so yeah.
He's also got some like good snacks in his drawer.
Okay.
Make sure you ask for them. Donna says, it is fully filled out. I was just wondering if it would fruit more. It could.
It could. This is the plum tree, correct?
This is the pear tree that's 15 feet tall.
Yeah. Yeah, it might fruit more, but again, 15 feet isn't a super, super old fruit tree either. It's still a youngin', if you will. So I would still take the necessary steps to like prune and shape it now so that in its mature stages of life it is much healthier and more full.
And Donna, how old is your pear tree? Did you get it from us and you grew it from a whip, or did you get it from like a nursery and it was like almost fully formed? We were talking about like getting trees like that. It must be so stressful to be in the nursery in such a small pot.
Oh, absolutely. Incredibly stressful on the plants. Like they just have like rows of trees. They basically just wrap them in burlap, and they just sink them in soil in these long rows. And then when someone wants to buy them, they just pull them out, wrap them in burlap, and then like deliver them. Like incredibly stressful.
Yeah, like I was at Walmart and like they had like a 10-foot tall apple tree and the pot was like 4 gallons.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so small for that tree. I'm like, are you just sticking fertilizer to it?
So like something interesting from my days of working in nurseries and garden centers is that like plants that are too big, like second year stuff, like they don't want to hold those over from year to year because that costs more money to keep those alive to sell for next year. So if you're seeing like the early spring sales, that's usually second year stuff. So you can get quite established things for like a good chunk of change. But yeah, so like usually those second year things are much, much bigger. And then in this case, like where you saw it was like that was probably much older than they thought they would be carrying it. So
I'm not sure if my husband will go back to a greenhouse with me because I was like walking through and I was like, those lilies are in full bloom. You're going to get it home and it's basically going to stop blooming. But they're selling you the flowers.
Like us walking through like garden centers and nurseries is like watching a movie with a movie lover who's like pointing out every little detail. Like
all the flaws.
It's really, really annoying, but like you just can't turn it off.
You can't, but like here's a beautiful hydrangea bush and it's like the second week of May and it's in full bloom. And hydrangeas bloom in the fall.
Yeah.
So like that plant is stressed. You're going to get it home. It's going to be unhappy. And like it's not going to bloom in the fall because it's already blooming.
Another tip for maybe the approaching fall for anyone who buys fall mums, buy mums that aren't in flower yet. They will last much longer. If you buy the ones that are in full flower, they're going to last a week if you're lucky, and then they're not going to flower anymore.
Yeah, so I'm not fun to go to a nursery with.
Yeah.
But I can like show you all the things. But that's why it's like so much better if you buy lily bulbs from us. You're going to get blooms this year.
Yes.
And years to come instead of taking it home and having it basically immediately stop flowering.
Yeah.
And it'll be stressed.
Yes.
Donna says her pear tree is about 10 years old and they bought it at Kent.
Okay.
10 years, 15 feet?
Yeah.
Are you fertilizing your tree?
Yeah.
How many pears does it produce? And some pears need a second variety. Only a few are self-fertile.
Yes. And even like the self-fertile ones, like they even like benefit from having another one as well. Like a good example, like if you have a self-fertile pear tree and you get 10 pears on it every year, if you give it another one, then you'll get like 20.
Yeah.
So.
And our Honey Select is self-fertile, but the patent pear needs a friend.
Yeah.
And the patent pear might produce a couple if you didn't give it a friend.
Yeah.
So that could be. Oh, Heather says, I Google lens the bug, and it is a stink bug, just a juvenile.
There you go.
It's the only triangle bug I could think of was stink bugs.
Yep.
I'm so afraid to squish them. They normally like decaying things. Strawberries are too delicious for them to like that.
Unless the strawberries are sitting on the ground, I know like if you don't have like a mulch, like a straw underneath them, like ants, slugs, other things will like move in. And as soon as they take one bite, that berry's going to start decaying. So like maybe seeing them as like a symptom of like other pests that are in the garden getting to the berries first and then causing them to rot faster. And
we have these cool things at work that are like support things to keep the berries up off the ground.
Yeah.
And they're reusable and they're not very much. The lady that's normally like dropping links in the comments for us, she's on vacation today. Her son graduated. It's a good excuse.
Yes.
But we do have them. I think they're on our website as well. But they'll keep your berries up off the ground and they're reusable. So that's a good option.
Yeah.
I don't know how good stink bugs can jump.
I don't know either.
They get in my house quite easily.
Yes. Ours too.
I don't know why they like it in so much. I'm stuck to the chair. See my tan? Isn't it good? Oh, you can see it from there.
That is a proper farmer's tan.
It is a proper farmer's tan. I did threaten Ethan yesterday. He was wearing like full jeans, a quilted flannel jacket, and insulated gloves. And I was like, it is 26 degrees. I was like, I'm hot looking at you.
Right.
It's been so warm. All right. Should we ask our question?
Sure. All right. So the question, super hard one.
Very hard.
Maybe a quick reminder again of what we're giving away?
We're giving away two $100 gift certificates that can be used to get a custom seed pack for anything you want.
Yes. And it's two individual $100 gift cards to two different people.
Yeah. So, and you can get a custom design on it, and you can choose what seeds go in it, and you can get the gift certificate and choose later. You don't have to decide right now.
Yes, that's right.
So it's really easy.
So the question I'm going to ask, you're going to put your answer in the comments, and then we're going to do a draw, and then we'll announce the winners at a later date. Mm-hmm. So the question is, if you were to win a custom seed package gift certificate, what would you use it on?
What would you use it? So easy. Tell us what you use a custom seed pack in the comments, and then I say tomorrow we'll give it 24 hours.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll announce. People love to win things on Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll do a live draw, and we'll just pick 2 people who answer in the comments what they do, and we will send that gift certificate to you in the mail.
Yes, that's right.
Donna says, yes, my husband fertilizes. The tree has different grafts on it. Unfortunately, 2 broke off. Last year we had very little pairs, and the year prior was the best, where we had 30 to 40. It was a good crop. This year we noticed about 20 buds forming. I love those pear trees with the 5 different grafts.
I do too. I think they're very cool.
It's so fun. Janine would do a wedding gift. Great option.
Yes.
Because you could give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
If you knew somebody else that was getting married.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 2 grafts broke off, so that's had some damage.
Yes.
20 pairs is still a lot of pairs, but you might get a better crop if you get another pear tree.
Yeah, and like a lot of these things like fluctuate every year with how the harvests are and how the yields are, with how much you're getting. It's kind of like a roller coaster effect. Some years you're going to get really, really good harvests. Some years you're going to get really poor harvests. So. Yeah,
and we had frost in PEI 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago. It was after the June 10th full moon thing.
There wasn't any warning of frost, but like there was one night it got down to like 4 degrees with like it feels like of like 0 or something. Like it was cold.
I had frost at my house, but you didn't have frost.
No.
So I had a hard frost. But I mean, if my fruit trees had budded out, that would damage them and affect my harvest.
Yeah.
So a late frost can do that. Janine, my sister-in-law was given a greenhouse for Christmas. She's experimenting. She's getting married in July. That's a perfect gift.
That's a perfect gift.
That is a perfect gift. Greenhouse? Oh, how do you beat a greenhouse?
I know. I got a greenhouse for my birthday one year. It was great.
Oh, you still have it, right?
I still technically have it. I'm using the framing now, but not like the coating or the outside part.
My house has no flowers or anything. I need to make it pretty and help nature and get rid of my lawn. I would also give some to my community garden. That's also a great use.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's really no saying that you can't get all one thing and plant it yourself.
There's that too. I mean, you'll get like probably like 75 to 100 packages of like the one thing, but like you could use it yourself if you wanted to.
Hear me out. Annual surprise mix, and I make every ditch on my street beautiful.
That's right, eh? You could be like getting up with like the people delivering the newspapers in the morning, like giving the little wave as you're going by and just like chucking some seeds out the window.
Chucking seeds.
Yeah.
Everyone's ditch be like, oh my god, why are there so much like calendula and bachelor buttons in everyone's ditch?
Where the heck did this come from?
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what I would do.
Yeah.
I filled my own ditch with annual surprise mix. I haven't seen anything though. The weeds are really intense.
Yeah, the weeds get intense in the ditches.
I don't know if I can beat the weeds. I thought the poppies would though. I thought the poppies would beat the grass.
I wouldn't give up yet.
Oh, don't worry, I won't. I will not. I buy your Italian onion seeds. Will these grow large onions?
Yes, they will. Just make sure you're actively like feeding them well, and that they're getting good moisture throughout the year as well.
Oh, Donna loves my idea to fill all the ditches.
Yeah.
I don't know where you are, Donna, but on PEI we have a lot of lupins in our ditches, and it's really beautiful. And I even think the Dames rocket is really pretty.
I think it is too.
I know they're kind of invasive, and I've got lupin in my house. I just deadhead them. But I do want a really pretty ditch.
Yeah.
A pretty ditch.
Yeah.
Right now it's just like grass, and it is going to be goldenrod, and I don't want to do anything with goldenrod.
We're going to start a new movement. Every ditch deserves to be beautiful.
Yes!
Yes. Every
ditch deserves to be beautiful. A slogan coming towards you. That's what I'm doing. I deadhead and I throw my ditch.
Yep.
Yeah. I want a pretty ditch.
Yeah.
I also need milkweed in my ditch.
That would be a great one to put in there.
Yeah. We had our first monarch at work last week.
We did. That was very exciting. Have you seen any more yet?
No, just one.
Yeah.
But they don't the monarchs don't hang around the milkweed. They're just coming, laying their eggs, and they're going to eat pollen off of another flower.
I do see a lot of buds coming, so maybe once the buds open, they'll start coming around more to eat some of the nectar, but not yet.
Yeah. They're like on the trees. Like I noticed a whole bunch of butterflies. I couldn't get close on the Weigela.
Yeah.
So they're just laying their eggs there. I get it.
Yep.
I'm going to be on caterpillar watch very soon, though.
Very soon.
Janine says, what type of fertilizer for onions do you recommend?
So I like to use an organic granular like hen fertilizer. But really, it's up to you. I usually go for anything that's organic and granular. It's just easy to apply. The product I use is called Fafard. We would put it on about once a month. You sprinkle it over, and usually chut a time before a good rain, so it gets into the roots. So yeah.
I like worm castings.
I try to avoid anything that's like super super high in nitrogen, like Miracle-Gro, like Triple 20, anything like that. That's better suited for like petunias or like million bells, anything that's like wants to like grow every day and always have flowers. You want something a little bit lower, probably higher in potassium, which is the third number in the ratio.
Maureen said she would use a gift certificate towards purchasing the lighting unit to grow the seedlings. Now, Maureen, the gift certificate is just to get a custom seed pack.
Yes, just custom seed packaging.
It will be a gift certificate, but it will go towards custom seeds.
Yes.
But maybe you could sell a custom seed pack to get a lighting? I don't know.
Or like if you keep coming back to watch Digging Deep, who's to say we don't give away another like light garden at some point too?
I love giving away light gardens.
I know.
I love giving away light gardens. I want to give away big things. I love big things. I mean, $200 in seeds is still...
That's pretty good.
It's still very big.
Yes.
I like to give away things though. If I could do that every day, amazing. My milkweed is 3 this year and has never flowered. I am so surprised, Heather. Our milkweed grows like a weed. We actually have to stop it from flowering because we have 2 big patches and we can't have any more.
Yeah, like when did we put that in? 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
We installed 2 years ago. We let them flower, white fluffy seed heads everywhere. And now they're completely filled in, so now we're like gonna deadhead so the flowers don't spread anymore.
And even though we deadhead, they're still everywhere.
Yeah.
Because we miss one.
Yes.
Did you start it from transplant?
Yeah, like if it's not flowering, like again, if something's not flowering, I always go back to like how much nitrogen is it getting. Nitrogen is like always going to stop plants from flowering. Doesn't matter what plant it is, it'll stop it from flowering.
Now is not the right time to dig up and transplant milkweed, but you just stop on by next spring and we can hook you up with some milkweed because we have so much. We need to thin it out almost.
Yeah.
But it's going to stay there forever.
Yeah.
It's going to stay there forever. All right, 4:00. Keep leaving your comments in the comments about what you would do with custom seed pack. We will announce tomorrow around 4 o'clock who wins.
That's right.
And we won't be late next month.
We won't be late. June is like our busy month to get plants in the ground, so it's been a busy month.
It's been a marathon of planting.
Yes.
And I should be planting right now.
Yes.
I should be planting right now, but I can plant tomorrow.
It was funny because like you were ready to go. I was like, we'll leave at like 2:45, and then I was like getting off the tractor, and I came back to the office, and you were like, I was gonna call you. I'm like, I'm coming. I'm sorry.
Well, it's
just so busy.
I forgot that the girl. I had to check the Facebook, so I was like, I had other work to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to do that.
Yeah.
All right, no shortage of choices. Heather Rogers, it might be 8 inches tall this year. Heather, that's so small for milkweed.
Okay, if it's 8 inches tall, maybe not getting enough sun then? Not enough sun would be indicator of it growing so small and not flowering?
Yeah. And did you get it as a root or did you grow it from a seed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Milkweed is so easy because you can just like throw the seed where you want it in fall and it'll grow next.
Yeah.
It is a late shower though, so you got to be careful where you're weeding because it doesn't show its face until much later.
Yeah. And then the only other thing that's coming to mind too is like if it's swamp milkweed, like is your soil really, really dry all the time, like super sandy? Because swamp milkweed likes really wet roots.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Yeah.
And the orange milkweed, the orange shades, isn't the one that the butterflies love.
No, so that's what I would call butterfly flower. They like to eat the nectar from the flowers, but it's not the one the monarchs lay their eggs on.
Yeah, because that's what the caterpillars eat.
Yes.
if you're on PEI and you want to see monarch caterpillars, come visit us.
Yeah, come on by. Yeah.
Our bushes are full of caterpillars, and it's really exciting. Not right now.
Yes, they're not here yet. Give it like, what, another month or so?
I'll post it.
Yeah, you will see the posts on Facebook.
I am obsessed with monarchs. All right. Thanks for watching,
Yeah,
everybody.
thank you. That flew by. I didn't realize it was 4 o'clock.
It is 4 o'clock, and it is time to go plant some more flowers.
Yes.
All right. We will announce tomorrow. Oh, what does Donna say? I would use a gift certificate to have more perennial seeds. Mm-hmm. I love perennials.
Yes.
Coneflowers. We planted coneflowers today.
Excellent.
Let's see if I can stop this from 10 feet away. Oh, another comment. Not swamp. Full sun from seed and transplant. 6 inches tall. Interesting indeed. Heather, come visit us. I would love to meet you, actually, because you're always in our lives. So come visit us in the spring, and I will give you all the milkweed you need. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, I have to end.